Welcome to the 11th episode of our Victory Baliwag Leadership Flow, and we hope this will help you unlock and even flow in your leadership. Last week we talked about retirement, and today we're going to talk about quitting in your leadership, quitting in ministry. Naisip ko nga, I read statistics in Barna Group. 55% of the pastors in the US are quitting. I'm thinking about, ba't kaya sila nagkukwit? Yung pastor nga nagkukwit paano ba kaya yung mga tao? So, what's wrong? What are the symptoms that we're doing it wrong? And what can we do so that we will not quit, but really continue to be faithful in what we're doing? And so, we're going to come into Numbers 11 to 30. It says there, Moses said to the Lord, "Why have you dealt ill with your servant? And why have I not found favor in your sight, that you lay the burden of all these people on me?" And so we see there is a symptom of leading alone when people, number one, first point is people become a burden, not a joy. Parang these are the people that you are called to serve. These are the people, itong victory group mo, itong volunteer group mo, bigay ni Lord sa'yo yan and yet it has become a burden. So, pagka-burden na siya, it is possible that this is a symptom of leading alone, and probably yun yung very root kung bakit gustong mag-quit ng mga tao. And so, that's the first thing. No? Number two is actually feeling the burden of the people alone. That's number two. No? So, number one, people become a burden, not a joy. Feeling the burden of the people alone. Meaning, sobrang bigat nung burden ng mga ginagawa mo. Bakit sobrang bigat? Kasi nga, baka that's a symptom that you are doing it alone. Number three, that you are running out of answers. No? Parang wala ka nang masagot. Diba? There is the verse in Proverbs, there's wisdom in the counsel of many. So, wala ka nang masagot. So, baka wala na rin wisdom. Ba't nga ba wala nang wisdom? Kasi we're doing things alone. And you are now complaining. Number four, complaining about the people that you are called to serve. Imagine, no, ang daming prayer na ginawa ni Moses sa mga taong to, nahati yung dagat, naligtas sa mga 10 plagues. And yet, sa dami ng milagro na yun, parang nakalimutan niya na ito yung milagro ni Lord, itong mga taong to. At ngayon, yung taong milagro ay kanyang complain. Pwede ba yun na nagkaroon ng answered prayer before, that after some time, it has become something you complain about? And most probably, you are leading alone. I think that's what's hindering the flow of our leadership. Tingnan natin yung mga complaints ni Moses. No? Sabi dun sa verse 12, "Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth? That you should say to me, carry them in your bosom as a nurse carries a nursing child to the land that you swore to give their fathers?" So parang naisip niya, anak ba niya itong mga taong to? Hindi naman niya anak anak naman ni Lord yan. So it seems like this is a burden that he should not carry. I think there are two things, no? When following the will of God in your life, carrying the burden that you shouldn't, and kumbaga hindi para sa iyo ang burden na yan, yet you're doing it, no? Ang mas mahirap pa dito, you're doing it actually alone, no? Look at this, no? Verse 13, sabi niya, "Where am I to get meat to give all to these people? For they weep before me and say, give us meat that we may eat." Sabi niya, saan ba ako kuha? So, yun na nga, there are no answers anymore to the needs of the people. Verse 40, "I'm not able to carry all these people alone. The burden is too heavy for me." Who said that you need to carry all of the burden to yourself? And sabi nga nung verse 15, Numbers 11, "If you will treat me like this, kill me at once if I find favor in your sight, that I may not see my wretchedness." So think about this. That says a lot about his leadership, no? Kill me now. Parang, Lord, parang may ginagawa kang mali, no? Meaning, ayoko na, quit na ako sa leadership, quit na ako sa, basta ako na lang, mag-isa ko na lang, I don't want to be involved anymore. where in fact, baka nga blessing nga yung ministry, because ministry somehow allows us to not be alone, to not really do our lives alone. So that might be the reason why we are quitting. Now, what is the solution for all of these symptoms? Number one is yung pinakita dito ni Moses sa Numbers 11, and really, it's really God, no, who gave the solution. Sumagot through Jethro, that's in Exodus 2, but also in these verses. No? Tingnan natin yung verse. It says there, verse 16, the Lord said to Moses, gather for me 70 men of elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of meeting and let them take their stand there with you. So I think the first solution there is, these are people who are already leading inside their camp. No, most of the time, siyempre, pagkakumpanya, di ba, yung companies would hire people outside of their company. Pero actually, in the church, the leaders that you're looking for that wants to lead with you are already inside the church. And you just have to let them lead with you. Sabi ng verse 70, I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take some of the spirit that is on you and put it on them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, so that you may not bear it yourself alone. So it's really the fresh infilling of the Spirit to others. No? It's really prayer, Lord, na kung ano man yung Spirit na meron na ibinigay ka sa akin, ilagay mo rin yan sa kanila. So that's how to multiply our leadership. As we can see in here, no? In verse 18 says here, and say to the people, consecrate yourself for tomorrow, and you shall eat, for you have wept in the hearing of the Lord, who will give us the meat to eat. So, from complaining to praying, and then continuing on to the verse, in verse 22, shall flocks and herds be slaughtered for them, and be enough for them. Verse 24 says here, so Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord. He gathered 70 men of the elders of the people and placed them around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to them, and took some of the spirit that was on them and put it on the 70 elders. And here's what's amazing, no? And as the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied. They did not continue doing it. But they did not continue meaning, as nung yung Spirit ay napunta doon sa mga tao, nag-lead na kagad sila. They began to prophesy. It's almost an instant. In verse 26, here's what's interesting. Now 2 men remained in the camp, one named Eldad and the other Medad. The Spirit rested on them. They were among those registered, but they had not gone out to the tent. So parang hindi sila kasama dun sa prayer meeting. Tapos direklamo sila dun. Sabi niya, hindi natin sila kasama. Bakit sila may anointing? Buti niya eh. Sabi nga yung Moses, sabi niya ni Moses, would that verse 29, would that all of you would lead. Yun yung prayer ni Moses. And I think, kung gusto natin mag-quit, kung ayaw natin magpatuloy, that's actually a symptom that you're no longer enjoying, and probably you're doing it alone. And the way that you would multiply your leadership is that you will begin to trust people around you, not people outside of the church, or even be jealous. Wala ka namang hindi ka naman nag-L113. It's not the concern. Let them, no? Payagan natin sila na mag-lead. I think that's what people are looking for, that they be given permission to lead. And so, admit our weaknesses, even have coaching times or even mentoring times with peer leaders, meaning hindi ito yung taong nililid mo, pero yung ka-level ng leadership mo inside the church. At ang nakalagay din doon, let them. Do not force them, but let them. Meaning, they're already here. No? Most probably, if we're pushing people, we chose the wrong people. Kasi meron nang bigay si Lord. And so, we don't want to be a solo leader or super leader. We don't want to be the ultimate leader. But we just want to be bearing the burden that God wants for us. And so as we continue not to lead alone, we're gonna be having a reversal of the things that seem to put us down. People are gonna become a joy again. People are no longer gonna be a burden again. People will give you wisdom. You're not gonna run out of answers. And you will not complain about the miracles that God has already given you. Appreciate the miracles that God has already answered in your prayers. And that's how we flow in our leadership. God bless you.